Hello everyone. Welcome to this next video in our ISB video series, which is on ISB PGP 2728 application form filling. We'll be looking at detailed application form filling in this video so you can avoid common mistakes while doing so for yourself. Getting started. So before the actual form filling, ISB requires you to register on their application portal, which is why you will need to create your account first. For the existing users or those who have already started or filled up any other application form earlier, they can log in with the email ID that they have already used then. For the new users or for the first time users, you will have to start by creating your profile. This is your basic registration form and these details will be used to create your basic profile. Starting with your personal email ID. Now this email ID will be used for all the communications later by ISB. So please make sure that you note down which email ID are you using to make your account here. Your personal email ID, your first name, middle name, last name, followed by your primary country of citizenship, the current country you are residing in, your current city, and the year in which you have got your undergraduate degree, your total work experience, your designations, your current designation in which you are working, your current organization where you are working in, the industry that you are right now in, your country code, and your phone number or your mobile number. So these are your basic details, followed by which program category are you interested in. So for this, you will have to select your postgraduate programs. And within that category, there are multiple programs. But for your PGP, you will have to select postgraduate program full-time. So with this, your registration at their application portal is completed. After you are done with this, within 5 minutes, you should be receiving an email on your email ID where you can have a link to set or reset your password. Now, those details can be used when you want to log in again to this portal. If in case you do not receive your email ID, you can always mail them with your issue at this email ID and they will revert back in the next 24 hours. Now, moving ahead with your actual application form. So in the beginning of the application form, this is the page that they have given to explain you the basics, where throughout your application form, you will see these 4 tabs at the top of the form. The home tab is basically to see the status of various sections of your application at any point of your filling. Got queries is extremely important tab for you. So anytime during the application, if you face any issue, technical or any other issue, you can always click on that, post your query, and they will revert back to you within 1 working day. Next is messages. So all the communication from ISB back and forth are stored at one place in messages tab. And the last one is payment and this will be used when you pay for the ISB application in the last stage. Now, this is what your application dashboard will look like before you have started with any application, where your active applications are 0, and that is when you will have to start with your new application. Once you do that, you will again be asked about which program you want to apply for. So you'll be selecting PGP for the cohort 2728 and click on next. So once you do that, your application for PGP 2728 will start. Currently, if you are applying for round 1 for 2728, the round 1 deadline is 20th September as they have given over here. And this is the prompt that your application has started. If you are coming back to your already filled half application or you are starting with your new application, you can always start by clicking on Start or Edit Application. Once we do that, now before we start filling up the form actually, this is a comprehensive list of documents that you should be ready with so that you don't have to find them while filling up the form. First is your profile photo, your passport number or your Aadhaar number, your mark sheets, which should have your mark sheets from 12th, graduation, post graduation if you have pursued that, any professional courses or any doctorate courses. Then comes your certificates again for undergrad, postgrad, diploma, or any other courses that you have pursued. In case your primary medium of education was not English, you will also have to submit your IELTS or your TOEFL scorecard. Certificate or supporting documents for notable achievements. So, whichever notable achievements you plan to add in the form, you should have some proof or some certificate noting that. Next is your GMAT or GRE test score report, which should ideally contain your appointment or your registration number, your test date, and your center details. Then is your GMAT or GRE test center slip, which you will have to upload. Proof of income for employed. So, anyone who is employed with any other organization, you need to submit any of your last 3 months' pay slips, your offer letter, or your bank statement as your proof of income. And last is proof of income for self-employed. So people who are entrepreneurs or who are into family business, you need to submit your business registration certificate, self-declaration, income proof of last 12 months, bank statement of the company, and P&L statement of the company. So these documents you should ideally be ready with. Moving ahead, so this is the entire flow that we'll be looking at while filling up your application form. Now, when I say read this first, so even before you start with the first section of personal information, ISB gives you an entire document which has your basic instructions for form filling. Reading that carefully will at least help you avoiding the basic mistakes or the most common mistakes made. So please read that carefully before you start with your first section. After reading it, I'm going to go to personal information where the personal details are to be filled, which contains your name. Now, your name is automatically generated from your registration form, so that cannot be changed. But what you need to add more is your profile photo. So, you will have to upload a profile photo where the maximum size needs to be 2 MB. So, make sure that your photo is generated in the same way. Your birth date, your gender, and followed by that the contact details, which has your mobile number, and your alternate mobile number is optional. So you might want to fill up an alternate mobile number, but it's not compulsory. Followed by permanent address, which has your country, state, city, and your postal code. Also, right below permanent address, you have current address. So you can always select that it is same as permanent one or it is different. If it is different, you might want to fill those details as well. Moving ahead, next is your proof of identity. So you might want to enter your passport number or your Aadhaar card number as your proof of identity. If you select Aadhaar card, you can always click on this link to download your masked Aadhaar. After doing that, if you're selecting your passport number, your issuing country, your date of expiry of passport needs to be added over here, along with uploading your passport or Aadhaar, whichever proof of identity you have selected to upload. So going ahead with the preferred interview location. So ISB allows you to select your preferred location or your preferred city from this drop-down list. And so you can select any of these cities. You can add your LinkedIn profile ID, which is again not compulsory, and supplemental information where in case you are having any disability, you can always mark that as an option. So that encompasses our personal information section. Moving forward, we will go into education details. But before that, I would like to make one point that anytime during ISB form filling, please make sure that whenever you complete a section, you save the section and move ahead. Because ISB form filling is a long process and you will ideally not finish it in one go. So whenever you are sitting for the form filling, make sure that you submit and save whatever part of the form you have filled up. So whenever you resume back, you don't need to fill that again. Next is your education details. So again, before starting with the education details, there are some set of instructions which are given by ISB. Key things to be kept in mind while filling the details. So they have listed down few bullet points which you can read carefully before starting filling up the form. Next is instructions for reapplicants. So any candidates who are reapplying for any program, there are some specific instructions for those reapplicants. Please make sure you read them. There are special instructions for professional courses like chartered accountants, and there are also special instructions for medical education background candidates. Go through these instructions carefully before starting with this section. So now you are supposed to fill up the details about different levels of education, where you will always fill in the order of latest first. So your last attained degree or any of your program will be filled up first. So let's say if you have pursued a post graduation, or if you have pursued an undergraduation, which was your last course you pursued, that will be filled first. So I'm going to click on add to fill up the details for my first program. As soon as you do that, these are the details that will be asked, where you have to select your degree level. Which degree level are you filling it up? Is it a 10th, 12th, graduate, postgraduate? Which degree level are you filling? What is the degree? What was your mode of study? Full-time, part-time, distance learning, etc. Selecting the field of study. So let's say if you are filling up a graduation degree, what was your field of study? Was it engineering? Was it commerce, etc.? uh, Selecting your major or your specialization, and what was the duration of your degree, so the start date and the end date. Then you will be asked to fill up your CGPA or your percentage on the scale of, if you're filling up a CGPA, it can be on the scale of 5, 10, etc. Percentage needs to be on the scale of 100. So whatever you're filling it up, accordingly your scale of will be filled up. Class rank. So this is not compulsory again, but if you have achieved a significant class rank among the batch of students that you had, you can always fill that data out. Moving ahead with your country of pursuing this degree, state where you pursued this degree from, city, and the institute name from where you pursued this. So at the end, you need to upload your mark sheet. So as we have kept few of our documents ready, this was one of them. So you need to upload your mark sheet here. And this again is not compulsory, but in case you want to upload your pass or your provisional certificate, you can do so here. With this, we submit and we move ahead. So when you fill up those details, this is how your page of your form filling would look like, where I have filled up the details on undergraduate course, I have filled up the details on 12th. So this is how it will look like, right? Again, you need to answer, was the medium of your instruction English? If yes, great. If no, as I said, moving ahead, you might have to submit your IELTS or your TOEFL scorecard. If you want to add any more details or any more degrees attained, you can always click on add and keep on adding those degrees here. As and when you add, the rows will be increasing in this. Moving ahead with the next section, which is awards and recognition. Again, when you have not entered anything yet, it looks like this, where you can always click on this to add award. Now, before we do that, let's understand what qualifies as an award. So what can you include in award is any medals that you have won in any section, either academic or extracurricular, any professional awards, or any awards in any other fields. For notable achievements, in case your award winning has been at a good level, like a national or an international level, that qualifies as notable achievement. Your military honors or your granted patents also qualifies as notable achievement. Right. So when you click on add award, these are the details that will be asked from you. The title, what the award was about, the year of award, the area, the domain where you have got this award, the level of participation. So in this, if you are selecting either a national or an international level, automatically notable achievement tab will open. But if the level of participation has been local, has been state, or has been school or institute level, this tab will not open. And Describe the basis of selection for the award. So why you were given this award, what was the level of the competition, etc. can be described here. Next is you will have to upload a supporting document. So if you have received any certificate or anything while receiving the award, any other document has been given to you, please make sure that you upload that in this space. With this, we save this information, we move ahead. And as and when you keep on saving the information, the awards will keep on increasing in rows in this section. Now, similar is activities. So, what qualifies as activities? So, in activities, you can include your participations. So, if you have participated in any event, any contest, any competition, you can include that, followed by your event organization work and your social work. So, all these things are categorized as activities. Again, the notable achievements in the activities are similar. If your participation in any of these categories has been at a national or an international level, that categorizes as notable achievements. Also, your military honors or your granted patents also categorizes as notable achievements. So when you click on add activity, a similar form like awards open where you are supposed to give in your activity name, your role in that activity. If that activity was not a one day but a longer duration activity, you need to select from and to date, area of activity, and what was your level of participation. Again, depending on the level of participation, the notable achievement tab can open or not, and followed by the description of what the activity was about. With this, you save the entire information. You can keep on adding your activities, how many ever you want. And as and when you add, those rows will be added in this section also. Every time you add an activity, please make sure that you click on the save button. Moving on to the next section of form filling, which is professional experience. I think this is one of the most important sections. Again, before starting with the form filling of professional information, there are some set of instructions which they have given there which you need to read carefully. These instructions include key things to be kept in mind while filling up the details. So they have given some bullet points which you definitely need to go through and keep in mind. Instructions related to income related information, special instructions for chartered accountants, special instructions for medical education background candidates, and special instructions for armed forces personnels. So if you belong to any of these categories, please make sure you read the instructions carefully before proceeding. What can be included in professional experience? So your full-time work experience, your internships, your on-campus jobs, employment as a student, and any traineeship that you have done as a part of your education, all of these things can be included in your work experience details. Moving ahead with the section. So again, you will have to click on add to add your first work experience detail. So as soon as you click on add, this is the window which will open, which will ask you for information like, is this your current employment? Ideally, also work experience details need to be filled in the order of latest first, right? So current employment, if it is, please tick that checkbox. From what date to what date are you employed or are you in this particular role? Company name, company website, division, office or business group or branch that you are currently working at. Company description, so what is the company about? Industry in which the company is, and industry subcategory, right? So this is these are the details that you are required to fill in, followed by what is the kind of employment that you are into. Are you talking about an articleship? Are you talking about a full-time or a part-time employment? And within full-time also, what is the sub-employment type is what you will have to select. So this gives in all the details about your one employment. Once you have done that, you will be asked for your annual compensation in the current employment. So your INR amount And in case your compensation is not in INR, kindly convert and write it. About your organization, about your role or your organization. So what is the function? What is your designation? And what are your key responsibilities, your KRAs in the role, right? So you will have to list down at least one record with maximum 255 characters needs to be filled. But if you have more to give in, please fill in multiple records. Your job location at the end and your job city. So all these information comprehensively completes your work experience details for one job that you are entering. With this, please click on save button. So as soon as you do that, your information will come there in the form of a row. If you want to add about more work experience details, which have been either your previous jobs or your other jobs, make sure you again click on add tab and again fill up the information for that job experience. You will also be asked if you are an entrepreneur or a business owner. Please give the related information, and depending on all the information that you have filled at the end, you will get a collected calculation of your total full-time work experience and your part-time work experience depending on whatever details or data you have given to them. This will be automatically calculated and generated. Moving ahead with the next section, which is other courses. So in other courses, if you want to include details on any other certifications, or let's say you have pursued multiple undergraduate courses, or you have pursued multiple postgraduate courses, or any other diploma courses. So anything like that which you were not able to add in the education background section can easily be added in this section. So when you click on add, this is the list of details asked, where what kind of certification or additional education have you received, what is the status of completion, mode of study, from date to date, your CGPA or percentage on the scale of respective numbers, the name of institution from where you pursued, followed by the board or the organization you pursued from. Post that, please make sure that you upload your proof or your certificate as a part of your proof that you have done this. With this, click on submit. So as soon as you do that, the row will again appear in this section. And as and when you keep on adding, the rows will keep on adding too. So next is essay section, which I feel is extremely important and critical in ISB form. So ISB actually asks the PGP students for 3 essays, out of which 2 are mandatory essays and 1 is an optional essay. Each of these essays have a word limit of 400 words. So let's look at what kind of essays are asked. So your essay 1 says the unique experiences that have shaped who you are. What have these experiences taught you about leadership and the kind of leader you aspire to be? So this essay essentially asks you about your experience, why you are what you are today, about your leadership examples from either your work experience, from your extracurriculars, etc. Next is what intellectual experiences have influenced your approach to learning and have led you to pursue an MBA. Essentially, why MBA? So, what story of your life has led you to be here? Please describe using anecdotes from your own experiences. For ISB essays, I would like to make a point that these essays are very critical. It needs a constant brainstorming to draft the best format of your story in here, but they will always look out for genuine essays. So please enter the information only that is true in your story. Third essay is an optional essay. You might choose not to write this one, which asks you about any intellectual pursuits, unique perspectives, or experiences that you pursue that have shaped your worldview, your growth through these pursuits, and how they could potentially contribute to our learning community. So, this essay has a word limit of 250. Make sure that every time you sit to draft the essay, please save the essay, because it is not necessary that you will draft the entire essay in one go itself. So make sure you save every draft. So whenever you resume back, you can start from where you had left it. The word limit for all these essays is minimum 100 and maximum 400 for 2 compulsory essays and maximum 250 for the optional essay. Moving ahead to the next section, which is recommendations. So, ISB asks you to have one recommender who can submit a letter of recommendation or an LOR for you. This is extremely important, and which is why it is very critical that we choose the right person to recommend you. Whom should you choose? So ideally, these are not the only options, but these are the ideal options. Your direct or your current supervisors, your clients, let's say if you are into family business or into entrepreneurship, your clients who really know you well and your journey well can be your recommender, or your professor who knows you very well beyond the books as well. All about the process. So how does this LOR process take place? So once you are submitting the detail for the recommender and of course the email ID of the recommender is sent a link via email. So ideally you should be using a professional email ID of the person that you are recommending, right? So ISB sends a email to the recommender with a link. On that link, the recommender is supposed to fill up all the details asked about you, and that works as your LOR. The recommender is asked to review the strengths and the potential growth areas across various parameters through that link. So please make sure that whoever you are choosing to recommend you really knows you well, your growth well, and your journey well. Now, how do you give out the details for the recommender? So, starts with your prefix, the first name and the last name of the recommender, the organization that the recommender is in, his or her position or title, country, city, country code, mobile number, email ID, very important. Make sure you are entering the right email ID because this will be used by ISB to take the process ahead. Relationship with the applicant. How is the applicant related to the recommender? Status of recommendation and message to recommender. So in the email, if you want ISB to send some message along with the email, you can always do so by filling in the details here. It's not compulsory though. And when you click on send email to the recommender, ISB will almost immediately send the required email. Clicking on save and next will take you ahead. So that was all about recommendations. Moving ahead with the test scores. So which tests are valid for PGP? For PGP, ISB accepts GMAT, GMAT Focus or GRE test scores. But all these tests need to be taken within last 5 years of the application and they need to be taken as center-based tests. The online test scores are not considered valid. So for GRE, if you select GRE as your preferred test score, these are the details which you will have to submit. The test date, your GRE email ID, registration number, if you have taken GRE multiple times, and all the 3 sections scores and percentiles along with the total score. Please make sure that you enter in correct scores and percentile. Do double check before submitting. Also, you will have to mention that when have you requested either ETS or Pearson VUE to report your official score to ISB. With this, submitting the GRE test scorecard will complete your information or your data on GRE. Clicking on submit will take you ahead. In case you have selected multiple tests, so let me take you through GMAT edition also. So before GMAT, for traditional GMAT exam, you will have to enter your test date, GMAT email ID, GMAT ID and GMAT appointment number. If you have taken GMAT multiple times, followed by the scores in all the 4 sections with your percentiles and your total scores. Again, make sure that you're writing in or entering in the correct data here. And of course, when did we request the Pearson view to report your official score to ISB? You need to submit your GMAT test score card as the last part in GMAT. In case you have selected GMAT Focus Edition as your preferred test, the similar kind of data is asked, where only change is the number of sections have reduced from 4 to 3. Otherwise, similar things needs to be updated. So that was all about your test scores. Again, I'm repeating, make sure that you are submitting your application with the right test score. Next is language proficiency. So this section will be applicable to those applicants whose primary medium of education was not English. So in that case, you will have to select one of these two exams and submit their scorecards. Save and next. So now coming to the second last section, which is uploading the document. So in this section, you will have to upload some additional documents apart from what we have done up till now, which can include your income proof for self. So again, if you are an employed or a self-employed candidate, depending on that, you will have to submit your income proof. And apart from that, if you want to submit any additional documents as a part of your income proof, you can do so. It is not compulsory, but submitting one income proof is compulsory. With submitting all these, we move ahead, and at the end, we come to declaration. So in declaration, you will be asked to answer a few questions. Uh, have you ever been found to be in violation of academic integrity? Have you ever been the subject of disciplinary action at your place of employment? Have you ever been convicted in a criminal case? Or have you ever been as a respondent in an FIR or a charge sheet in a criminal matter? Please make sure that you answer this question true to their best. Moving ahead with statement of application integrity. So once you check or tick on this checkbox, you are accepting all that is given here as a statement. And with this, you will be getting few statements or few documents from ISB which says offers of admission. So what are the ISB policies when you are given the admission? Consent regarding sensitive personal data, and consent for utilizing data for placement purposes. Make sure that you tick each of this checkbox to complete your application. Now, coming to the fine print. So with this, your application is now complete, and now you will be given some terms and conditions for admissions into PGP program in management at ISB. This completes your application, and at the end, you will be asked a campus preference for either selecting Mohali, Hyderabad, or indifferent. How are you allotted the campus? It is completely at ISB's discretion. They can allot you according to your preference or not, but not in our hands. So with this, we complete our application, and I really hope that this video will help you to fill up your form more efficiently and without making any errors. Thank you.